Hi, and welcome to another edition of Our Reviews. I'm your host Adam Westgate, and today we'll be looking at the 19th century football mini-series known as The English Game. Now I should say there are spoilers in this, well I'm not going to be avoiding them, so if you don't want to know about it, it's on Netflix right now. Please don't watch on because, as I say, this is not a non-spoiler review and this is about the English game, so do not watch on if you don't want to know. Now, as always, please like, subscribe, comment, show us some love, and as you might have noticed, I'm a bit ready for this review. So, let's get into it. We're going to talk about the English game. So, as I alluded to, this is about 19th century football in the British Isles. And I say the British Isles because the start of it shows that two Scottish footballers from Partick Thistle, and for those who aren't aware, Partick Thistle is a club based just outside of Glasgow, sort of is a Glasgow club. I've got a friend who's a season ticket holder, and they were bought by a club called Darwin. Now you wouldn't think they're bought by a club, you know, that's not a big deal. Why is that worth a series? You know, maybe if they're bought for 200 million like Mbappe for Paris Saint-Germain, if you're still following, then maybe 200 million pounds is significant. But in those days, football wasn't professional. It was run pretty much by amateurs, and yes, you did have the working men versus the toffs, the aristocracy, etc., which is the dynamic of the series. However, the working men had to work all week, 6 days a week at the time, break their backs, not train really, because how do you train when you've broken your back, provided food, etc., etc., and then come play football on a Saturday? How does that work? Against a bunch of aristocrats who can train, have the best facilities, the best nutrition, not necessarily have to work as hard, or as long, I should say. So it was unfair. A lot of the old boys club, the teams used to win the FA Cup, and this is what it's about, winning the FA Cup, the first working man's team to win the FA Cup. So, two Scottish players get bought by a club called Darwin, who are based sort of near Blackburn, so Midlands North. I'm a southerner, so you might complain to me if you're from the Midlands or the North. But they get bought, we didn't really get bought because it's not allowed. It's not in the rules. So you have the dynamics of the other players of Darwin knowing that they're getting their board and lodge paid for, and etc, etc. So there's obviously friction there within the working men. But the Scottish player Fergus, he tries to get involved with everything to do with the town, and some people embrace him, some people don't. And then you've got the other side, the other main character, Arthur, who is one of the richer guys, the aristocracy, the old boys club. And he's just in a totally different world. And when they come to play Darwin in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, which is the furthest that a team like that has got, as in a working man's team, they're not very sporting. You know, these gentlemen of high society and, oh yes, fair play and whatnot, you know, they aren't very fair. The match in the end goes to a draw. They don't have what is known as a replay, which is, or they do have a replay is the point, which is they have to go back, they have to play another day. So Darwin, the working men, have to get their tickets, they have to go back, they have to work all week, break their backs, and it turns out that the FA is commissioned by some of the people on the Old Etonians, who are the people that they're playing. So yeah, I mean, if in the NFL or the Premier League or any of them, you've got people on the board of the committee that run it, not very conducive to not being very corrupt. So they have to come up against this. They in the end lose to the Old Etonians, but eventually another team comes along to buy the working men, known as Blackburn, who have a lot more money, £100 a week. That's a lot of money in those days, a lot of wonga for a working man. So you have the dynamic of Fergus getting his family out of Glasgow from his abusive father, which is, it's another dynamic. You then have Jeremy Kyle style, oh, this is his baby, and the owner of Blackburn has a baby with the woman that Fergus is interested in, and you have the Old Etonians having their squabble because one of their own, Arthur, goes and visits the North, goes and sees how they work, sympathises with them finally. His wife is a bit more liberal than him at the start, but it should be seen, but not heard. So that's the basis of it. Then Arthur and his wife have the issues with not being able to have a baby, saving somebody else's baby from a working class, but 6 episodes is not enough for this. Also, I should point out that there are a hell of a lot of historical inaccuracies, which I don't have a problem with per se if it's entertaining, but it's it's so convoluted for 6 episodes. I mean, I'm struggling to tell you this. One series, 6 episodes, so it's a mini-series, and I'm struggling to get it all out, all the, as I say, the Jerry Springer, Jeremy Kyle sort of style thing of, that's your baby, it's my baby, it's not his baby, his wife doesn't know, his mum doesn't know, the father's the... No, it just... And whilst it has entertaining parts, and yes, the good guys come out, they win the FA Cup in the end for Blackburn, because Blackburn have more resources, which is very much showing how things will become even up to the modern day. That's the way it goes, and the old boys have to wrestle with the fact that they can't controlling the game any further, because people need to be paid, it just needs to change, it's becoming popular. But it's a bit of a cluster, there's some stuff, sort of enjoy it, throw some stuff at the wall, there you go. It's okay, it's entertaining enough, but could have been so much more, so I'd say, it's okay. So, worth a watch in my opinion, but only if you haven't got better things to watch. So, thank you very much for your patience, for your getting through it, because quite frankly we had so much to try and get through, and I just don't feel like it can be explained well enough due to the convoluted nature. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, as we said, show us some love. I've been Adam Westgate. See you next time.